Hello, my name is Barnabas Fisher. This is my Week 8 assignment for Corrections Policy Project, and these are some positive changes I believe could be made in policy that affects inmates. This is my general appendix. Slide 1 is the title, Slide 2 is the general appendix, Slide 3 will be concerning staffing, 4 will also be concerning staffing, 5 is bail review, 6 is probation, 7 is concerning preliminary hearings, 8 and 9 are concerning incarcerated privileges, 10 and 11 officer stress, and 12 has my references. Okay, some policy changes I believe that could be made to help with the staffing issues that corrections currently faces. Is 1, image. The correctional officer jobs are typically viewed as personnel whose job capacity is surveillance and custodial. I believe educating the public on the complexity of correctional officer careers would be beneficial in recruiting. Mission. Correctional facilities and prisons often have shortcomings considering a coherent vision. Updating and revising the purpose behind corrections would increase morale and give meaning behind the profession, ultimately increasing interest in the job. Resources. County facilities and government facilities often fall short financially due to poor decisions in budget made by county and government officials, leading to poor work environments. I believe these are 3 things that could be changed that would help staffing issues currently affecting corrections. Leadership. Prisons and correctional facilities often adopt the military leadership style, which is chain of command. Often the chain of command model hinders the ability of frontline officers to make suggestions and relay issues to administration and have policy changed accordingly. This form of leadership can be toxic, and essential problems get overlooked. Verbal grievances often get lost in translation with this form of leadership. So with the chain of command leadership, you are supposed to address your first in line superior, who oftentimes does not have the ability to solve a problem that you're addressing. It has to come from up higher. But when you relay that information to the first in line in chain of command, sometimes that information never reaches it to the top for change to be made. So I believe a change in the structure of corrections could be beneficial. Supervisors. I believe supervisors amongst jails and prisons often lack proper training to govern officers adequately. I've seen it time and time again that people get put in a position where they're in a supervisory role and they never really have a game plan. They kind of just do the job as it comes to them. They never have any type of training. Typically they'll test for it, but as far as training goes, it's minimal. And a lot of times within corrections and prisons, you'll see that these supervisors will adopt a micromanager type of mentality where they are constantly over your shoulder. So I believe some training concerning those in supervisory roles would be beneficial. Bail review. I believe a change in the structure of bail review is an essential procedure that needs revised. Currently in some counties, such as Maryland, drug offenses are often held without bail. Bail reform in this area of offenses needs to be reevaluated. It would be beneficial to the community to change any crime pertaining to drug offense, considering that it's not a distribution charge. should be automatically turned over to the drug court where treatment for addiction can immediately be introduced. As of now in Maryland, inmates have to put in a request for any type of treatment programs. I believe if someone has an addiction problem and they come in on drug charges, they should automatically have their charges turned over to the drug court, and the drug court can handle the matter accordingly. Bail is a contractual incentive for defendants to show for their proceedings. This form of incentive is ineffective for individuals whose sole purpose is to feed their addiction. Mandatory treatment through a drug court could eliminate this unproductive system. It is not countable the amount of times I've seen drug addicts come in on drug charges, and if they do get bail, they'll have their bail posted and they'll end up getting an FTA, failure to appear, and they come right back to jail. And then, typically, the commissioner will not give them a bail if they are in on charges for a failure to appear, unless good reason is shown why they missed court. So this is not only a hindrance to solving their drug abuse, but it's also causing overcrowding in the jail that is not needed. Probation revocation. Probation revocation is leading to higher numbers of incarcerations, adding to an already overwhelming number of mass incarcerations. When a probationer has been deemed in violation of terms and conditions of his or her probation, they stand before a court without a jury, and prosecution and defense provide evidence to support their case for a judge to make a determination. This sequence of events is initiated by an officer's discretion, and a motion will be filed with the court. Probation officers have to follow strict policy concerning probation revocation that can be adjusted to accommodate corrections' high levels of incarcerations. So I believe probation revocation policy should be changed, especially in the area of violations. Preliminary hearings. Preliminary hearings can be beneficial to the taxpayers and all parties involved in a criminal matter. The problem lies in the fact that they aren't always done. Preliminary hearings should be mandatory for all cases concerning circuit court matters. This will allow cases that are insufficient for judicial proceedings to be thrown out, resulting in time and money saved. Preliminary hearings are also by request by the person that's incarcerated and needs to be done within 10 days of an indictment. I believe that this should actually be changed to a mandatory for all those who get indicted. Preliminary hearings can save a lot of time and money if it is found that there's not enough evidence to go forward. Otherwise, if no preliminary hearing is done, the court can move forward, the inmate's still sitting in jail until their day is in court, and if they don't have the evidence to prosecute, then it's just going to be thrown out anyway. So preliminary hearings could use some change in the fact that they are mandatory whenever an indictment is served. Incarceration privileges. Privileges for the incarcerated have become copious and extravagant. Prisoners are given entertainment, commissary, education, work, exercise, visits, personal property, gaming systems, and music. Privileges have become a comforting factor to those who have been incarcerated. Most don't mind coming to jail or prison because it is easy to pass the time with privileges. Yes, privileges can be used as an incentive for incarcerated to follow policy since the privileges can be taken away, but they have become too prevalent and have acted as a comforter for those who are confined. New policy should be enacted to change the number of privileges that are permitted. Officer stress. There are a number of factors that are responsible for cultivating officer stress, but the fundamental reasons are as follows: staffing, subpar salaries, shift schedules, mandatory overtime, work overload, family issues, and poor management. Salaries and staffing. Positive change in officer salary would benefit the extreme officer turnover rate among corrections. A positive change in salary would also regulate officer retention and keep experienced officers. All facilities should seek the guidance of officers on the floor when planning shift schedules. This will help boost morale and meet the needs of the officers at the same time. Due to poor staffing and salaries, many officers have a problematic home life in which a career in corrections is the cause. If these former points are addressed properly, officer on the job stress and family stress would decline. Individuals in supervisory roles need more training and leadership skills to increase their knowledge base for proper relations among subordinates. These are the references I have used to put together my assignment, and I want to thank you and have a good night or day, depending on when you're watching this. Thank you.